How's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto video, we're going to be talking about some of the saddest deaths in the GTA series that might even make you shed a tear or two. So obviously, there's going to be some major spoilers in this video with the death of major characters, so just be warned, we are going to be talking about a lot of deaths of some prominent characters that you might know, so just spoiler alert. Now also, before we jump into this, I want to clarify what I mean by saddest. So saddest is going to have a lot to do with, number one, the character themselves, number two, the situation they're put in, and number three, the circumstances of their death. So those are like the three things I'm measuring when determining who had the saddest deaths in the GTA series. But without the way, let's not waste any more time, and let's get it started. Okay, at the number one spot today, Michael DeSanta. So Michael's death occurs in the mission The Time's Come, and it happens after the player is given a choice to either kill Trevor, kill Michael, or choose option C, which is Death Wish. So if the player chooses option B, Franklin is tasked to kill Michael. Now, Franklin actually calls Trevor to see if he'll help him kill Michael, but Trevor actually refuses. Now, the first thing that makes this pretty sad is Michael had just gotten his life, for the most part, pretty much together. When they first meet, Michael starts to reflect on the partnership they had. He states that Michael now has a stronger bond with his family, his wife, and his kids. He's now finally in his dream job making movies for Solomon Richards, and he gets a phone call in the middle of the conversation from Tracy stating that she actually made it into college, which is insane if you obviously realize sort of the things she did throughout the game. And Franklin then attempts to ease his choice by reflecting upon their experiences and telling Michael that he likes him and that he risked everything for him. But Michael quickly realizes what's going on, and he notices that Franklin is sent to kill him. Now, fast forwarding a little bit, this chase leads them through the Palmer-Taylor power station, where Franklin and Michael end up in a couple of shootouts and then a scuffle at the end of a spire. Michael claims that Franklin was like a son to him, and Michael expresses his insane disappointment towards his choice when he claims Franklin was like a son to him. Imagine that. So the saddest part of this whole bit is when Franklin pushes Michael back, causing him to fall over the rail and is only held by Franklin. It's then where Franklin begins to regret his decision, but Michael objects and wishes he'd killed him before. Now Franklin can either pull Michael up or drop him to his death. However, if he decides to pull Michael up, Michael will headbutt Franklin, forcing him to lose his grip, and Michael will fall to his death, instantly dying on the ground. And what makes it even more sad is afterwards, Franklin calls Lamar, but ends up getting his voicemail, and we know he regrets the decision just by the way he quoted Michael. So the sad part of this death is actually reflected in both Michael and Franklin. Michael's life was obviously coming together for the first time in a long, long time, and he ends up being betrayed by one of his best friends and who he considered a son. And now Franklin is basically back to square one, nothing more than a street hustler where he was at the end of the game. So it's sad for both parties, certainly sad for Michael DeSanta. The number two spot today, Roman Bellic. So Roman actually dies at the end of Grand Theft Auto 4, or at least there's an option for him to die at the end of GTA 4. And what makes his death so sad is he literally just got married, which is the worst possible timing ever. So Roman actually dies at the end of the game if Niko Bellic chooses deal. And essentially what happens is during the celebrations after the marriage, a bald man walks up behind Niko, draws a pistol saying a gift from Dmitry Raskolov. Niko wrestles with him, and after two stray shots are fired, succeeds in forcing the pistol back and shooting the assassin in the head, killing him instantly. However, Roman was accidentally shot in the chest and killed during the struggle. So, number one, he was just married, but what makes that even more sad is that his wife, Mallory, is actually pregnant. Niko finds out through a text message later that Roman and Mallory were going to have a son together. And it's just so sad. And obviously, Roman was the guy who brought you to Liberty City. So it's an incredibly sad ending to an amazing character. As annoying as he was with all the calls about constantly wanting to go bowling, it was seriously one of the saddest endings ever. The number three spot today, also in Grand Theft Auto 4, Kate McCreary. So this also is one of the other endings to the Grand Theft Auto 4 game, and this is if Niko takes revenge. So if the player chooses revenge, Roman will call Niko on the morning of the wedding day, claiming that it is the happiest day of his life and that he's getting married to Mallory. And later, Niko calls Kate, telling her that he took his advice, and Kate tells Niko she is happy. Niko cut his ties with Dmitry and tells him to pick her up for the wedding. Now, the scene is very similar. The celebrations begin outside. However, during the celebrations, a black car drives past the passenger window and rolls down to reveal an enraged Jimmy Pecorino, who shouts at the crowd with an assault rifle at Niko. And he fires a couple shots into the crowd, and the car speeds off, but it is revealed that Kate has been shot. So Kate McCreary was like the first girl that Niko actually really cared for. The next morning when Niko wakes up in his apartment, he says, "Damn, I was meant to protect her. Poor girl, she should have never gotten close to me." So obviously Niko feels terrible about this situation. He obviously really cared about Kate, and she was innocent in this whole thing. She wanted him to get out of the game, and he was trying to, but this guy, Jimmy Pecorino, ends up firing at her and ends up killing her. It's a super sad death to the end of the game. The number 4 spot, Victor Vance. So Victor Vance actually dies in the first cutscene of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So the protagonist of Grand Theft Auto Vice City stories only had a minor but important role in GTA Vice City, only appears in the first cutscene. Victor Vance and his brother Lance arrive via helicopter to the Vice City docks, while Forelli's associates Tommy, Harry, and Lee arrive with $2 million driven by Ken Rosenberg. Vic leaves the helicopter wielding cases full of cocaine, whilst Tommy and his associates approach the cases of money. So you know what happens here. The two are actually ambushed, and Victor Vance is killed on the spot. What makes this sad is his brother, even though Lance turns out to be the bad guy, is in the helicopter and can only watch. And it's not like he can do anything to save his brother, as he has to fly away instantly. Otherwise, he would have been killed too. Now, we see Lance get his revenge later in the game, but it is sad to have to watch one of your family members die right in front of you in an ambush. Even if they were dealing with illegal drugs and stuff like that, it is still sad to see a character like that die, especially the protagonist of a GTA game. The number 5 spot today, Dwayne from Grand Theft Auto 4. So Dwayne is a gangster that you actually deal with as Niko in GTA 4, who is kind of associates with Playboy X. Now, there's a part of the game where you have to choose between Playboy X or Dwayne. You can't live with both of them. One of them has to die. And the sad death definitely occurs with Dwayne, who's been in prison for a really long time, and in the setting of GTA 4 has finally gotten out. Now, if Niko chooses to kill Dwayne, Niko will respectfully tell Dwayne that it's nothing personal, and Dwayne accepts his fate in sorrow, turning his back to Niko and calling him fake, just like the rest of them. So Niko shoots Dwayne in the back of the head while turned away, killing him with visible regret. Now, during the mission The Holland play, Playboy pays Niko, but apparent denial calls him cold for assassinating his old mentor, and the pair never speak again. So you choose to have Playboy X live, but then he calls you cold for assassinating his old mentor. It seemed like Dwayne was the nice guy here, and you chose the wrong person. And that's what makes this so sad, is you felt like you were doing a good thing, but the person who told you to do this really thinks that that was a bad idea. It's just an awful situation for Niko, and obviously you feel bad for Dwayne, who is just trying to do his best to survive out of prison and ends up getting killed by one of his old apprentices. And at the number 6 spot today, finally, we have Jim Fitzgerald. So Jim Fitzgerald was a member of the Lost MC biker gang, and his death is incredibly sad just because of how great of a guy he was. So after his death, which we'll talk about in a little bit, his picture is hung on the Lost MC Clubhouse's memorial wall. Johnny Klebitz, who was the leader of the Lost MC, later said of Jim that he was the greatest thing that has happened to the gang and the man we all wanted to be. Johnny states that he will send money to Jim's wife and kid. He owes them that and much more. So not only was Jim an amazing person, according to Johnny, he also had a wife and kid, which is incredibly sad. Now, how he dies is in the mission No Way on the subway, where Ray actually tells Niko Bellic to kill Jim Fitzgerald after a motorcycle chase. So basically, you chase Jim and one of his associates in one of the subway tunnels, and his biker and his friend are actually killed. So there's no iconic death scene or anything like that. In fact, the only way Johnny finds out is Ashley Butler telling him this at the end of the Mafia battle. But the fact that he was such a great person, the fact that he had been through so much with Johnny and meant so much to the Lost MC, does make this one of the saddest deaths in the series. But anyways, that right there is the saddest deaths in the Grand Theft Auto series that might even made you shed a tear or two. Let me know if you think I should add anyone else to this list in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. We like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.